So, are you interested in neurobiology and you want to know how exactly you can reach to the heights of being a researcher in the field of neurosciences and neurobiology? If you are interested in neurosciences and you want to pursue research here, I will be giving you some tips how you can pursue neurosciences research, the top 10 tips and strategies that you can follow. Hello everyone, myself Diksha Shantil from Biotechnica, and we are always there to help you related to the career guidance, opportunities available, as well as the scholarships, as well as the examinations, upcoming competitive examinations such as CSIR, NET, NEET, as well as GATE. So we are always there to help you in that sort. And today we shall be discussing about some important topic which students usually ask, that what are the benefits of pursuing neurosciences research and how we can exactly pursue neurosciences research. We are very much interested in neurosciences, but we don't know how exactly we can approach it. So here I will be giving you top 10 steps and a strategy how you can build up in yourself so that you can pursue neurosciences research in the future. So if you want to become a neuroscience researcher, this video will surely help you. So let's get tuned with the video, and I shall be giving you 10 important points. The first important point is understand neurosciences. So in order to pursue research in the field, you have to understand the basic of the research. It's very important because it's a pioneer of understanding the basics that ultimately lead for your it ultimately leads to your understanding about the subject, which will showcase your skills in that subject, because you have an command over the subject, command over the topic, command over the science, and the science you will progress, the science you will show, the science what your results will interpret will ultimately lead for you to become a researcher. So it's important for you to understand the basics. So you should always understand neurosciences. The first topic that I'm mentioning here is that you have to understand neurosciences. All right. So that means that you have to know about the basic terms such as what is neurosciences, what is the study called, why it is neurosciences, like what all comes under the domain of neurosciences, what is nervous system, basically important one, what is nervous system, what is central nervous system, what is peripheral nervous system, what are the channels that mediate the signals in the nervous system. So you should always know about the nervous system. You should always know about the basics, about the connections in the nervous system, how there is a progression of a signal, how there is a relay of a message, what are the effective functions. So you should know about the nervous system. Then you should always approach with the anatomy of the brain, of the nervous system, of the spinal cord. So you should always understand the anatomy. Anatomy is very much important. So your basics should command over the anatomy of the nervous system, because each and every the mechanism as well as the physiology is a different part, but you should know about each and every part, their name, what is their function, so that again if you want to go for a mechanism part of physiological intervention, then you won't find it difficult because you already know the basic terms and terminologies. So you should know the basic terms and terminologies, the parts, their function, the names, and you should not forget the names. So it's important that you know the anatomy. It's very difficult sometimes to understand the anatomy because it's huge, it is vast, but still you should try. Then you should know about the biological mechanism, what all mechanisms are there, what happens when there is what happens to brain, what is blood-brain barrier. So this kind of biological mechanism, what happens, what all we can impermeable to, and then you can understand about the basics of the physiology, what are the how there is a delay of a signal, how it goes to how you, if you eat food, how the signal goes to your brain and how your brain mediates it, what are the interventions that your physiology does when there is a disorder, what all are the disorders that happens when there is a condition where there is a abnormality in the in your brain or in the spine, the other parts of your nervous system. So you should know about these things. So understanding the neuroscience is the first point that you should do so as to become a researcher in the field of neurosciences. So we are done with the first point. The second part that you need to do is prevail your approach. Prevailing your approach interprets that you know about the approach, how you can go and study the subject, how you can command over the subject. So the order is not to become a good scientist or not to become a good researcher, but also to become a person who is trying to live into that subject, trying to live into that research, and then apprehend those research to the other people that who are available. So it should be very common, it should be enthusiastic, so it should always speak to the normal person also. It shouldn't be like that your research is always you are doing a research and then you are not understanding how to explain it to the normal person also. So your approach should be such that your commands should be such that your concept clarity should be such that you are always explaining. Even if you have to explain to your family what you are doing, you should do in such a way that you know the basic terms and terminologies, and for that you should understand the basics about the neurosciences as well as how you can approach it. So it is important, even if you want to become a researcher, it is important because your approach is what is needed to become a good researcher. So you should know about psychology, because psychology is also an integrated part of neurosciences. So you should know about psychology, you should know about the molecular biology as well as cell biology, you should know about these subjects, you should know about the anatomy and physiology, you should know about chemistry also, because it sometimes get into its interdisciplinary subject also. You can know about mathematics and computational studies, because computational studies is also very much important in the field of neurosciences. So these are all the advancement of neurosciences. So you should always be prepared for those other advancements. So you should always know the basics. It's very much important for you. So you should know about these things. So your approach should be such that after 20 years also, if you are a researcher, your approach should be such that after 20 years, if you become a researcher, you are at a very good position, then your work should speak, because these 20 years what you are spending in learning those things is important and ultimately will give you the result, the fruits after 20 years. So it's important for you to prevail your approach, and it should be really clear, precise. The next point that is important is learn laboratory skills. Again, if you want to become a researcher, you should always approach practically. You should learn the laboratory skills. You should always be good in a hands-on or a wet lab experiments or a technical point of view. So practical experience as well as theoretical knowledge go hand in hand, and then you will be able to become a good researcher. So for that, you should always learn laboratory skills. So you should know the basics, like what is neural stem cells. So how you can grow it. So this basic cell culture also you should know. How you can maintain the cells, how you can passage, what are the conditions that will lead to the generation, what are the growth supplements that you can provide in the media, what is in vitro assessment and visualization, how you can visualize those stem cells, what are the 3D culture, organoid culture or spheroid culture, how you can manage it. So these basics you should know. Then functional magnetic resonance imaging. This is like the techniques that we use for imaging the patients, or in the field of neurosciences, most of the techniques that are usually used in the medical schools as well as hospitals. So you should know about these basic techniques also, such as fMRI or PET, positron emission tomography. So you should know about these basic things also, because your idea is to develop a whole view, not to just become a researcher who should know all the things. It's not like that you are not knowing about the many aspects of neurosciences, and you are just going to research and speaking about research, about the laboratory techniques, Western blot, PCR, but you don't know what are the diagnostic methods, how you can diagnose a condition when there is an abnormality in the nervous system or in the brain of a person. So your approach should be both clinical as well as basic. So even if you're doing a basic research, the approach should be such that even if you're sitting with a doctor, if you're sitting with a medical person, then you are speaking and we are talking, you're having a interaction, because mostly if you collaborate with the hospitals also, you will be always dealing with the neurosurgeons or the person who has done their higher doctor degree in the field of neurology. So you should always be understanding in that way that you know about the basic diagnostics and prognosis techniques also. So it's very important for you to know about these techniques that are usually used in the field of neurosciences, so that they can diagnose the patient. So it's usually needed for you also, even if you are sitting in a laboratory, it's very much required, because your apprehension is required. So you should know about the basics, what is cell biology, what are the stem cells, how it happens in the neural stem cells, what are the techniques of diagnosis such as fMRI, PET, what is CT scan, or some techniques that we usually use in the field of basic research like Western blot, PCR, imaging techniques like phase contrast microscopy, confocal microscopy. So you should know about these techniques. You should know about cell culture. So these things are very much important. So you should know about the laboratory skills. Also, you should now learn about the bioinformatics and computational biology techniques also. So these things are very much important for you. Then the next part that is important is do internships and certification courses. Again, your motto is to develop a knowledge that people people can see and say that, yeah, you know about it. And that not only comes with the idea that you are learning about it, but you should also show the skills in your CV. Your CV should speak that way, that you know about all the skills that you have done. So you should do internships and certification courses so as to expand those skills and so as to like make your CV good, look good, as well as strong also. The next one you can do is attend workshop and conferences. Again, this is also the mantra that you should always go and attend the workshop conferences in a medical college, in a research institute where there are doctors, there are neurosurgeons, or there are like practitioners who are doing practicing in the field of neurosciences. There are researchers in the field of neuroscience, and there are scientists who is working actively in the field of neurosciences. So you will always have an idea to interact with them. You will always have a tendency to interact, and when you have that tendency, you are learning something best from them. So you should always participate in national as well as international symposium. You should participate in neuroscience conferences and conclave like that are particularly devoted to neurosciences. If you get any chance, please go, don't miss any opportunity. Or if you want to go to any place, like fascinating places where you want to learn about neurosciences in a fascinating way, you can go to any brain museum, you can go to any hospital. They usually have a brain museum where you can inquisitively learn about the brain, learn about the like how it works and everything. There are a lot of like fascinating things in the museum also. So you can visit any brain museum also if there is nearby. So this is how you can always attend a workshop, conference, or a fascinating place in the field where you are interested, so as to enhance your passion. It's very much important. So you can always go for attending workshop and conferences. And the next point that is important is, I'll put it here. Interact with professionals. So interacting with professional, again the guru mantra, you are interacting. Research is based on interaction. The more you interact, the more you will learn, the more you will ask questions, the more you will gain knowledge. So these things cross talk with each other, and it's important for you to interact with the professor, the scientist, even your seniors, colleagues, even your juniors also. If you get to learn something from them, do learn. Okay, just do learn. Interact with the professionals who are working actively in the field of neurosciences, because the learning that you get, it might change your life, and it definitely will. So it's important for you to always be a person who is interacting. If you want to sit here and then you want to imagine everything about neurosciences and you're thinking that you will become a researcher, it is not possible. So your ability to take a step towards neurosciences comes with a lot of interaction and networking, and you should also always interact with the professionals such as the professor, scientists, seniors, as well as colleague who is working in the field of neurosciences. So always interact with the professors or the professionals who are working actively. Participate in neurosciences related projects. Again, you can go for any position, any PhD position, any project position, internships, short-term trainings. If you are getting a chance to go for a lab, to go to a lab which is having a world-class facility in the field of neurosciences, if you are getting an opportunity to get into an internship in a startup company or anywhere which is actively working in the field of neurosciences, do learn and go. Okay, so go for project positions. If you have done your masters, go for any JRF or project assistant positions, project associate positions. Go for PhD positions if you want to do a PhD in the field of neurosciences. And if you are a BSc graduate, you are developing your interest about neurosciences. If you are an MSc graduate, like if you're doing MSc in between, you want to learn about like neurosciences, then in between also you can go for any summer break or any internship or any, if you are getting a 10-day leave also, you can go for any lab where you can at least get a basic idea about the neurosciences. So this is how interest develops. So these are things which is important for you in order to proceed in the field of neurosciences. And the next point is keep update about the latest research. Yeah, that's utmost important. You should be always following up the recent publications that come in the active journals who are like top journals in the field of neurosciences. You should always have a subscription. If you're not having a subscription, ask for any access like institutional access, and always follow. Always try to be try to cross network with the latest research that have been happening in the field of neurosciences. So that will always help you in building your mindset about neurosciences and being a good researcher also. So your scientific capability will increase. So some of the good journals which you can follow are Nature Reviews Neuroscience, Nature Neuroscience, and then these two are different journals. Okay, so don't get confused. Then Neuropathologica, then Behavior and Brain Sciences, then Trends in Cognitive Sciences, Journal of Penal Research, Neuron, Trends in Neurosciences. These are some topmost journal which you can follow. Here I'll put it here like this. Yeah. So I'm scrolling. You have a look over this. So these are the top journals which you can follow, which are like actively having publications in the field of neurosciences. And then you can have a subscription, or you can buy an access. Whatever you want to do, just please do it. And then the next one that is important: keep yourself updated about we have discussed about. Okay. So the next one is know best institutions. Now you are having an active interest in the field of neurosciences, and you want to work in the field of neurosciences, and you have done all the basic requirements that are needed to become a researcher. You have done all the basic, like you have gained all the basic knowledge that is required to become a passionate researcher in the field of neurosciences. Your passion is like too much to become a to become a researcher. You are actively molding yourself. You are actively shaping yourself so that you can get into any neuroscience related position, the positions that are in the field of neuroscience research. So if you have done all the basics done, like if you have all the basics done, you are actively if you are actively searching for opportunities, then you should know about the best institutions that are there, that will always help you in getting the best exposure so that you can learn more and more. So if you want to go for any JRF position, any PhD position, or any research position, you want to learn about the research there, so you can go for the neurosciences research schools or labs or institutions where they are always having the top cut-notch research in the field of neurosciences. Okay, so some of them are Indian Institute of Science Bangalore, then NCBS Bangalore, NIMHANS Bangalore, and NBRC National Brain Research Center, Manesar, Haryana. So these are some of the apex institutions in India who are actively working in the field of neurosciences. They have a very nice department of neurosciences, and the rest two are these rest two are like very much famous regarding the apex center for neurosciences as well as research. So you can go for to their website, and you can understand about them. You can understand about the selection procedure, the labs they are working, the labs which are there, the projects they are working. And if you want any project you can email the PI. You can always have an interaction, and you can ask them for any opportunity that is available. You can go for a PhD admission also if you want to do your PhD in neurosciences. So these are the options in India. These are the apex institutions in India who are actively working in the field of neurosciences. Abroad also, some of the institutions I am mentioning: Harvard Medical School, again University of California, San Francisco, Stanford University, and Massachusetts Institute of Technology. So these are some of the good institutions who are working world-class universities who are working in the field of neurosciences. So you can go and check their department also. And also your preference abroad depends also on the labs that you want to go, and if you want to go for US, Europe, UK, so based on that also you can apply. So these were about some of the institutions in India and abroad that are good in the field of neurosciences, where you can go and search. And now comes the top companies. And if you want to work for any industry-based position, if you have done your master's or PhD, you're looking for the companies where you can work as for positions that are good enough for you becoming a neuroscience researcher. If you want to become a neuroscience researcher, if you want to contribute in the field of neurosciences through the advancement that the industrial positions are giving you, so that you can actively help in the neurosciences research that the companies are doing, the world-class companies are doing, these multinational companies having set up all across the world. There are some of the companies I'm enlisting where you can go to the website, you can check for the positions, you can check for the eligibility and how you can apply. So some companies are Amgen, Neurals, Alto Neurosciences, Neurologic, Bristol Squibb, and then Apollo Neurosciences. So now we will be discussing about some top companies where you can go and find any job if you are interested in neurosciences. You want to become a researcher in the field of neurosciences, and you are looking for companies where you can go and work. So these companies are the top MNCs who has centers all over the world, and they are actively working in the field of neurosciences. So some of the companies are again Amgen, Neuralis, Alto Neurosciences, Neurologics, Bristol, Apollo Neurosciences. So these are the top companies in the field of neurosciences, and having their setups all over the world where you can actively go. You can go to the website, you can search for any employment options, their eligibility criteria, their selection procedure, and if you want any position, if the position suits you and you want to work there, obviously you should go and search for position. You should ask. You can go for LinkedIn also. You can interact with the professionals who are working in these companies, and hence you can go and approach those people or the positions so that you can actively work in the field of neurosciences through industrial exposure. So if you want to go for a top companies, I have enlisted some of the top companies here which is actively working in the field of neurosciences. So here now we are done with the top institutions, companies, research, the top journals that are available in the field of neurosciences. But the approach should be how exactly you want to work in the field of neurosciences, what will be your contribution is something that matters. And for that, it's important for you to develop your interest in such a way that you know about the basic science as well as you know about the interventions also. So your exposure, your intervention, your enthusiasm, your passion and your hard work should be such that you're going to become a researcher in the field of neurosciences. So it should be inside you, it should be imbibed and engrossed inside you, and then only you will be able to become a good researcher. So you should speak science, you should talk about science, and you should listen to science. So these are the top strategies that I have mentioned, top 10 steps and strategies that will help you in building your career in the field of neurosciences as a researcher. If you have anything, any doubt, please mention in the comment box below. I'm there to help you, and I hope you have liked this video. I hope you have found it informative. If anything, please revert back to me. Thank you so much for watching this video.